In this episode, we're jigging with Smithy off the Sunshine Coast.
What was it? Oh yeah.
He's worked hard for this one. He's worked hard. Welcome to my fishing place, guys, the place to be, and in this episode we're talking all things jigging.
Oh, what's that out there? That's my fish.
Because you've done so much jigging before.
Yes, oh yeah, still got it.
As you might know from some of our previous eps, we've done quite a bit of jigging. Well, I have. Probably Lee and Kez haven't done quite as much, but I've done a lot of jigging for your species like your dogtooths, even around GTs. One of the best ones is jigging for dogtooth tuna. We went up to this pinnacle one day, and it went from about 100 metres down to 1 kilometre. So you're dropping these massive big jigs. They're probably 200, 250, up to 300 grams.
That's a heavy jig.
Oh, they're heavy, right? And you got big saltigas, big 100-pound braid, and these things we just couldn't stop.
But if you say 1 kilometre, if you say it drops off from 100 metres to 1 kilometre, like where are you jigging?
Oh, no, you're jigging on the 100, but when they're hitting it, and then they just start heading down, and and you got to stop them. Either you got to stop them from hitting the reef, going too far, or shark. It's like all the odds are stacked against you, but the best fun.
But we get some jigging up here on the coast though.
That's why we looked at doing our own range of jigs as well, just for some fun. We designed these more up for sort of your Kingfish, your sort of amberjacks. These will work great on doggies as well, but more that we've got some lighter ones that we came up with. You know, we did the Seeker lures, which are more of a slow pitch sort of jig. So we've got these in the 40, 60 and 80 grams, and we use those for like your snap and your pearl perch.
He's worked hard for this one.
Why did you come up with that?
We're looking at a few different designs, and one of the first ones we tested was this.
They are a good looking one.
Yeah, they're not. It's not a pure slow pitch jig. It's also not a pure knife jig. Somewhere in the middle, so you can use it for sort of both. And I got some prototypes made up, and I took them off of Mooloolaba with Smithy from Smithy's Charters. We're on here. And we went out chasing some amberjacks, and they worked a treat. Big hits, big fish in, so we knew we were on a good winner with those jigs.
Oh, I saw that other jig.
So that's when we come back and came up with that style in the, I think we did that 80, 130 and 160.
Yeah.
Probably could do a 200. Next run we might look at designing some more up for a 200 range. And then we also designed up, because I thought, well, I love my snapper fishing and love slow pitching for snapper and pearlies as well. And that's when we brought these other ones up, the sort of the slow pitch. So.
And does it matter depth on your slow pitch?
Yeah, the depth will determine pretty much your weight, and then your species can obviously determine the style. But you know, these styles will work on basically a lot of the southern species, your AJs, your kingies, your pearlies, your snapper. You'll be fishing for kingies and pick up pearlies, or you'll be fishing for pearlies and pick up kingies. So I guess these ones we sort of designed the sliders more for your AJs and your kingy styles, and these other ones a bit more for your snapper sort of style.
And so you've gone out, you've worked on some designs, come up with what you think, okay, this is what we want to use.
Yeah.
Big Red, I suppose the test is you hadn't done much jigging, and then you guys did they work?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, guys, you gotta raise it. You're on your plane, put your hopes on zebra.
fishing boat. FIB motherfucker.
Did you like jigging?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was getting jiggy with it.
Oh, father.
Yeah, so I guess that the test of any lure or equipment is, can a novice use it?
From all the stuff I've done with Lee, I know he's not very good at casting, so I think jigging is good for Lee. Straight up and down. We're going to try out some of the new MFP jigs, get a few AJs and hopefully some snapper.
And we took Gleno, who'd been on the show before, went to corroborate.
Ready to catch the first fish and the biggest fish today, as usual.
He's a novice. He's probably going to watch the show and shoot me, but he's good. But anyway, so he's a novice, and so we went for a trip out, with Smithy's fishing charters again up Lullabar. But of course we had Dean Sylvester as well, who's a pretty well-renowned fisho, and both ends of the spectrum were slaying it on these things.
Big red's on. Big red is on. Right, number one.
So I guess the test of a lot of lures is
Give Big Red a go.
you give big, yeah.
Or does it work? I think people want to know, does it work?
It does work, but it's bringing a novice out, and I wasn't a complete novice, but we brought Gleno out, who's been on the show before, jigging as well, mate, and he was cleaning up on these things.
Yep.
And it's not a difficult action to use them, is it? And like just jig, bang, fish on, and we caught curlies, I think we got snapper, I got busted off on a big AJ, like...
Oh yeah.
Under the boat. What you doing?
I was thumbing the reel in the middle of the ocean, can you believe that?
I can't. Tell me, what happened?
Oh, I just thought, but I think that was the first solid fish of the day. Just like, yes, fish on, and it just come towards the boat, and I just thought,
So it's near the boat.
it's near the boat.
And you're
Right, so it's coming back to
we're
it.
in 60 metres of water, and the fish is probably 3 or 4 metres down.
I thumbed it at the end. Didn't have to.
No
And you
way.
think a thumb would be.
Well, there could have been a snag that I didn't know about. It could have run to a snag. I was devoed. It's one of those moments where it's one of the first fish.
Good fish too. 80% of fish are lost at the boat.
Pinged off. But like I'm saying, mate, we must have caught 30 fish, you reckon, that day?
Oh, easy. Yeah, well, look, I mean, when we first pulled up, we thought it was an AJ spot.
What was it? Had it on the whole time. You mean Keep away from the top.
That one all out the top. Let line out, let line out. Let line out. Yeah, let line out. Whoa. I'll go. There we go, that's it. Oh, stop.
But then the next couple were just sort of mid-sized kingies,
Yeah.
and they were a lot of fun on the jig. But then the next couple were nice kingies, and they were a lot of fun on the jig. They were hitting them really hard, and they were hitting them about, well, I guess which is normal, probably about 10, 20 metres off the bottom, and schooling as well, because I think Dino hooked up one, and straight away, there's like a triple hookup.
Pink's the colour. No, I'll try pink.
You have a nice day.
So we pulled up at one spot and it was about 60, 70 meters. So I put on a 130 jig. I think I put it on in the, actually I was using the pink.
That slayed it.
And often you say, like people will tell you like snapper fishing, snapper will hit your soft plastic or your jig on the drop. And did they what? Like my best snapper was like, you just like, just dropping down to the next thing, boom, into gear and on. And yeah, it's so much fun. They were just hitting them just bang on the drop. I think we got pearlies and snapper at that spot. And half mine would have been not even jigging, just on the drop, you know, just fluttering down, which is, you know, why we design these ones, is they just flutter nicely down when you sort of you spool them a little bit.
Not bad. Big snapper. Big snapper, is it?
So with the pearlies and the snapper, you know, some people jig exactly the same, but I just like to slow it down a little bit, and that's why, I mean, I was using these jigs, but often I'll use the seekers, the more sort of slow pitch jigs, and sort of you can just lift them up a little bit sort of slower than having to really rip through them, although the snapper will hit them as well. Snapper! Because they hit them on the drop anyway.
Hello, snappers.
That is a lot of fun, but typically when I'm going AJ or kingy fishing and doggy, same thing. It is a fairly fast sort of jigging action, but then with the more slow pitch jig, like you said before, Big Red, it's more relaxing fishing, obviously.
Is it relaxing? I jigged up north for jogging. I was like, oh, it's hard work.
It's fun. What are you talking about?
These slow pitch ones.
No, they are fun. And when jigging, it is important to be looking at your sounder and understanding what you can see on your sounder, because often on the sounder you'll come across, you know, a patch of pearlies or a patch of snapper, and you'll see where they're arched up, so you can drop the jig right through them.
He's worked hard for this one. He's worked hard.
And when you'll see a lot of jigging line these days, you've got the specifically designed jigging line, which is your coloured braid in 10 metre increments.
Yeah.
So if you're fishing in 70 metres of water, you can count down. I mean, your jig hits the bottom, but you can basically count down and know where your jig is. And you know, if the fish are in 80 metres of water and are sitting, you know, 10 metres off the bottom, you know, you'll drop your jig to the bottom and you'll jig up maybe 4 colours, 40 metres. Because if they haven't hit it by the time they get up there, then just drop it down. No use bringing it up 80 metres. There's no real need. Yep. So you can watch your line. You count up, oh yeah, jigging. I've gone through 4 colours, drop back down again.
That was super helpful.
It's so important, and it's just such a help. Reading your sounder properly and matching it with a good outfit and good jigging line is part of the success of making jigging successful.
Hey!
Yeah, on the drop.
Well, look, it's like any sort of fishing, you really got to match your conditions. You know, so if you're fishing in 80 meters of water and there's a 2-knot current, you've got to up the size of your jig to 160, 200, 250. You've got to be able to get the jig to the bottom without it floating way back in the current somewhere. So it's always important as you're learning a new style of fishing to understanding the weight, where the fish are. The fish are on the bottom, the fish are 40 metres up, so I only need to drop down 40 metres or a bit past it. But it's important to read the conditions and understand the equipment, the lures that you're using for that particular fish and for that weather pattern, and fish accordingly.
Whoa, oh, what's that out there? That's my fish.
Are you dead still on?
Wind him, he's getting hunted by a shark. Wind him quick, this side's the shark. Get him. Where's the shark? Oh, yeah, we cut mine off.
And as Lee mentioned before, we had a couple of guests on this trip with Smithy. We took Dean Sylvester out with us, and he does a lot of jigging. And as is often the case when you're out fishing in general, right towards the end of the day, last cast, or you're getting towards the end of the day, and what should happen? You hook the big one.
Stonker.
And Dino hooked a cracker. And he fought it and fought it.
Hose to the bottom.
We're pretty sure it was a big AJ that I was fighting.
Sometime today would be good.
But as luck would have it,
Dust off.
bust off.
What happened?
Not sure, because it was fairway up.
How do you feel? Gutted. Gutted. I don't know, wait to see, ready?
I'm suspecting a faulty knot.
Whoa, that's an accusation.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the braid! Who tied the FG knot?
Maybe we'll let the viewers have the verdict of actually what went wrong with Dino's big fish.
Far out. That was big.
That's a new section. What went wrong?
What went wrong? I reckon we could fill that segment.
I'm trying to get it out, and then out of the water, bar at the back. There. Into the tree.
It's not gonna land itself. You have to fight it.
Looks like a meter fish.
Fish on.
Fish off.
No, listen. Big barra.
I thought it was a swimming buffalo.
Oh, how many times here in our fishing does someone not catch a fish for a full day?
They go out and come back with a donut. Yeah, it happens to the best fishermen out there.
And isn't it always the case with plastics and things like that is there'll be one colour at the end of the day that everyone's saying, oh, have you got any of those left? And that was the pink one.
In the 130, I think.
Yeah, it went so well. It's like, oh, have you got a pink? No, I haven't. You got one stashed in your tackle box. You don't want anyone to get. The fish we were catching, like the pearlies and the snappers, are that tinge, and that was the colour that was getting smashed every time.
Yeah, still got it.
Yes. Nice pearly.
Well, lads, sounds like you guys had a good time. Sounds like the jigs worked out.
And of course, a big thanks to Rob Smith from Smithy's Fishing Charters out of Mooloolaba. Mate, he always gets us onto the fish. He's a great bloke, a lot of fun to fish with, so thanks heaps, Smithy. Goes like that.
Not really at all.
No, they flutter. But I'd be careful on demonstrating because we'll get mocked.
Welcome to my fishing place, the place to be, and today we're going to talk jigging.
And that's the end of the episode. Thanks.